I was working for BBC News one day when I got a call to go to Long Clawson in Leicestershire to the dairy where they make Stilton cheese. Now, Stilton's only allowed to be made in Leicestershire, Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire at 7 different dairies. And there was a story in the Melton Times in Melton Mowbray that the face of Elvis Presley had been found on a piece of Stilton cheese. Anyone remember that story? That was my job for the day. I was sent by the BBC to cover that story. And so I rang them up and said, OK, I'm coming up. And they went, right, there is a problem. The woman who discovered the piece of cheese is on holiday. And also, we have cut up the piece of cheese. So it wasn't a very good start. So I told my boss and I said, well, I won't bother to go then. And he went, no, I've seen the pictures in the Melton Times. It's brilliant. It really looks like Elvis on this piece of cheese. And as you know, of course, Elvis is the king. And I don't know how much you know about cheese, but in the cheese world, Stilton is known as the king of cheeses. So it was a massive, massive story. And it was my responsibility to go and do it. And so when I said to the editor, well, they cut the piece of cheese up, there's no point going now, he said, no, Jeremy, you're going. You are going to cover that story. Because I have a little bit of a reputation in the BBC. When there's a story that you can't quite do, I will somehow make it happen. And he basically said to me, go and polish a turd. Get that story for me. And, sorry, is that all right, Jenny, that word? Oh, OK. But I couldn't really polish it, but I rolled it in glitter to make it a better story. And when I got there, the only way I could make the story work was to get an Elvis Presley impersonator to come with me, which I found on Radio Derby. It's a guy called Elvis Plesley, because Plesley is a village in Derbyshire. And he was a great big bloke. He mainly did the sort of Vegas end of the Elvis years. And the only way I could make the story work was to put in lots of puns about Jailhouse Rockford and don't step on my blue vein cheese. And I just want to be your camembert. But my message to you tonight is, if you do get anything in your firm that is newsworthy, don't cut it up. You've seen the book, Who Moved My Cheese? I'm going to write a book, Who Cut Up the Cheese? So do try and get on telly with your interesting stories. And maybe it'll be me that turns up. I did David Beckham's face on a melon. That was one of mine. The man who fires chicken poo at a catapult to deter burglars. That was one of mine. I tend not to get the top stories. I don't know what it is. Once I did do a story on terror at the airport. Some people rang in and said, was it a joke? Because Jeremy was doing it. And it wasn't. It was actually at Robin Hood Airport in Doncaster. So just think, for the sake of 70 quid on that bit of cheese, they could have had Sky, they could have had CNN, but they didn't go. They just had me in a funny hairnet doing some ridiculous Elvis songs.